Hello and welcome to the Stretford Paddock Podcast. Joining me today we've got Alex.
All right, how are we doing?
And we've got Ronaldo.
Oh, no.
That's not Ronaldo.
No.
That's not Ronaldo. That's Adam Patterson. How you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. You?
I'm very good. We've teased Ronaldo in the sense that we've teased him to you. We haven't teased him. We've teased him to you. He will be coming very soon. He's like Graham Norton. You don't get all your guests out at once. You save your star guest for the end because, let's face it, we've all missed Ronaldo, haven't we? He's been gone for a long time. We can't wait to see him. We're going to be talking Jack Grealish. We're going to be talking football. We're going to be talking isolation, quarantine, Coronation, Corona Nation Street, the new soap opera that I'm filming at my own house. You're going to love it. But yeah, we're all having a good quarantine, lads.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's average, isn't it? It's not. Could be worse.
Is it the best quarantine you've ever been part of?
Yeah, definitely. Because I don't have to be in a medical facility, so it's not that bad yet.
Yeah, I think it's up there. No, I don't know. Well, I did an evacuation that was better than a quarantine. That's all.
Ooh, talk us through it.
Well, there's a hurricane hitting where I used to live, and so I had to leave. And we just went to the other side of the state and got pissed for 3 days. And
it turned out the hurricane was just you on Tinder, wasn't it? Blowing up an absolute storm. The hurricane followed us to Washington, boys. We call me the hurricane. Let us know in the comments how you're doing. We're going to be talking about Jack Grealish, the silly twat.
He's been a twat.
He's been an absolute silly twat, hasn't he? But I think there's a lot to talk about because with the emphasis that we've had recently under Solskjaer on transfers having to be the sort of the right person as well as the right player, do we think? I'll let either of you go on this because it's just a convo after all. Do you think he might have ruined his chances at United, Adam?
Yeah, because Solskjaer's trying to do this culture reset at United and trying to get players through that. He wants players who represent the club to be ambassadors of the club like they should be, to have high standards and just be just normal human beings on a level that they have this respect for the club and everything that's happened before it. And when you see the captain of Aston Villa that you're heavily linked with, all right, he's dragged this team through the Championship and he's brought them back into the Premier League. That's the sort of character you want. We know that he's had personal issues in the past with tabloids doing X, Y, and Z on him. I get that. Rooney used to have the same issues as well when he was sort of around the same age. But this is kind of a bit of something that maybe has gone a bit too far and something that United might not want to be associated with. And I personally think that this probably would turn United off getting him, because what's Grealish going to be? He's going to be realistically 80 million. I mean, Villa might even knock the valuation down because of this. That shows how they want to sort of damage limitate everything. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that he has probably ruined his chances of coming to United. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Big comments there. Go on, Alex.
I don't think he has completely.
What are you going to do about it, Adam? You're disrespecting your live stream.
In one debate today, I'm not having another one.
I'm going to turn this into a debate. I'm stirring the pot, mate. I'm stoking the fire.
I don't think he's doing it completely. Because I think, to be honest, it's one thing that, character on a football pitch is one thing, and separating the two. Obviously, he has been a bit of a twat with all this. He shouldn't have done what he's done, obviously. And to be honest, in a lot of cases, a lot of people would lose their normal jobs for what he did. If you were drunk driving and whatever you've done and you've been caught and stuff like that, if you could just lose your regular job, that's like a possibility of happening. So he's probably going to get away with that in terms of things. But I think he still will have a chance to move to a bigger club, and I think United would be a little bit daft to kind of, if this is the reason they let him go somewhere else, I still think he'll be a success somewhere else. And I think that, we talk about personalities and stuff like that. You do need a knobhead now and again. To be fair to Wayne Rooney, and this is the other thing is, usually that knobhead has to be the best player on the pitch, though. He has to be very good.
You have to have the ego that backs up the ability. Pogba is one that's always brought up with it, and I'm sick to death of talking about Pogba at this point. But I feel that that sort of, I don't want to get onto it too much because I feel like Pogba's ego sort of come down a little bit more as the months have gone on recently, is that Solskjaer wants a player in who, like you said, if they do go out on the piss and they get pictured in the tabloids, knocking up X, Y, and Z, but they score 30 goals at the weekend, does that excuse it? Is that what Solskjaer's looking at? And I don't think so. I think he's looking for players that are just genuinely down-to-earth, decent human beings that go, I want this person to represent this football club, but I also want to play well as a player. There's players that are like Lingard, top lad, and everyone knows that he's a top lad around Carrington. But does Solskjaer want him round? But then on the flip side of that, we all know that Pogba's a great player, but his attitude might be something that Solskjaer doesn't like. And I feel like it's got to be this balancing act. And if you're one and not the other, then you're just not here. It's as simple as that. And that's what I think Solskjaer's got in his head.
Speaking of down-to-earth good characters who are good around the place.
He's not, has he? He's not sorted it.
There's a chance, and I'm going to try it now, that we may have Ronaldo ready to join for the first time in a very long time. It's Ronaldo. He may be having issues with sound, but I tell you what he will hear when he comes in. A lovely round of applause for our good friend Ronaldo returning from uni. You there, mate? Can you hear us?
Oh, we've got a spinning ball. Yeah.
I can't even hear you. Can you even hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Can hear you.
Can you hear us? He can't even hear us. Right.
I can't hear you.
Right. Unplug your headphones then. This is unbelievable.
You're going to have to send me out and send me back in, lads.
Right, he's out for flip's sake.
We tried.
That was worth it, wasn't it? That was absolutely worth it. He's laughing. I can see him off the bottom. He's laughing. Isn't he?
And the little thing in the bottom, we don't get to see that.
Yeah, exactly. I get the control.
You need to go into little cogs and stuff on the bottom, I think, and fix it.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, someone says, "What have I missed? You missed Ronaldo." He was like that.
He's done that same finish.
He was faster than the actual Ronaldo there, flying through our defence.
Do you not think we'll go back to whilst you're faffing with Jack? Do you not think that Jack Grealish, like, I understand what Ollie's doing in terms of getting in like nice play, like the top lads that everyone loves, and is that? Do you not think we've got the danger of being a bit nice though? Like, I mean, Wan-Bissaka, good lad, nice lad to have around. Harry Maguire, nice lad. Victor Lindelof, nice lad to have around. You lost Herrera as our knobhead that everyone hates.
Yeah, but he was a bastard on the pitch.
Yes, I know, and Jack Grealish has got a bit of that as well. And I know that this isn't. And look, and it's horrendous. And it could, to be honest, I wouldn't blame United if they went no. But I don't know. Like, I think that personality is kind of what we are missing. A knobhead or two on the pitch that'll run through a brick wall and do them kind of thing. United have always had them here, there, and everywhere. They didn't usually go off the pitch, but
here's a good question from Andrew here. Let's bring this in. Andrew K here saying, Ollie had a good quote some months back that he wants to bring boring players off the pitch. He wants them to live and breathe football and be quiet, not acting up in their personal lives. A perfect example of that being Marcus Rashford, I would say. Someone who you don't really hear about. All you ever hear about is how much charity work he's doing, how much of a nice guy he is. But on the pitch, he couldn't be more focused. He couldn't be more, sort of with the cause and for the team and all that stuff. So do you think that putting aside our thoughts on it necessarily, put yourself in the mind of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, scored some serious goals for United. He's got some great memories. You're in that mind. You're swimming around in that gorgeous little brain. Do you think that he looks at, you talking about bastards there, talking about Herrera, do you think he sees this as, it's certainly not a positive, but as a kind of an indicator that we may have someone who's a bit more feisty, a bit more character on our hands, or do you think him personally, this will put him off?
I think it's going to put him off because, like you just said, then Rashford. But I can name, you've got McTominay in there, who's the same sort of player. You've got Williams, who's the same sort of player. There's players in the youth academy that are brought up with a mentality of, you're a footballer, count yourself lucky. You're at the biggest football club in the world, count yourself even more lucky. Now fight for it. And I feel like that's what he wants to do. Grealish has got this track record of just sort of acting like a teenager. Like a student, do you know what I mean? And I'm not going to say that I'm not going out on the weekend and getting pissed like everyone else in the chat, like everyone else at Old Trafford. I know, me never. But when you're a footballer, how dare I? But when you're a footballer, you choose a totally different lifestyle. And if you don't adhere to what your manager's saying when you're being paid about £100,000 a week, then I'm sorry, but he's got every right to pass upon you. It doesn't matter if we've been chasing you for 6 months. If you do something that, is a bit of a public fuck up, then you shouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. You can just watch the chance go by. And I feel sorry for him in one sense, because he probably did want to come to United. And if this thing wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have been, It wouldn't have been brought up. And to riddle me this as well, like, if Grealish didn't get caught, would he be apologising for what he's done? Would he fuck? He's sorry that he got caught, not sorry that he's done it. Seeing as though he's done it a few times now. Not breaking quarantine, but doing this sort of stuff in the past. And I feel hard saying it, because I genuinely think that he knows that he's fucked up, and he's probably sat at home now with his stomach turning, going, what have I done? But the cynical side of me is going, just, keep him at arm's length. That's not the sort of player that you want to get at United. Sometimes
players like that, though, stuff like this can be just not even just players, just, humans in general. Stuff like this, where it's a big wake-up call. He may have hindered the chance at the biggest move in his career, the biggest point in his career. He's been playing for Aston Villa his whole career, and obviously he's a Villa fan and he's Villa captain, but it's clear that he sees himself somewhere bigger down the line, that, it's all been kind of building towards this next move. And maybe, and hopefully, if we do sign him, but even hopefully, if not for his own sake, this can be the kind of the thing that sort of shits him up and puts him in a position where he doesn't do this again. I know it's all a bit teacher-student type of talk, but sometimes it takes something like this for a person to kind of go, oh, you know what, I thought I'd lost it all. Maybe giving him another chance, he'll be a slightly different person. Again, it's a bit wishful thinking, but maybe sometimes that does happen. You sort of scared straight type, way of doing things. I'm hopeful that it could be that instead.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, I've not looked into it too much, but I've heard that this isn't the first time he's been caught doing something. It's off the field things that have stopped things. Because I'm sure there was a time when he was set to go to Spurs and stuff, and just things kind of transpired. It just never happened. And I think that, and whether this is something underlying, and maybe this is a one-off thing, because I think it's one. I think that a lot of this is, I mean, Jack Grealish, everyone said this has been blown out. People either have it both ways, saying it's either blown out proportions or that he's not getting dealt with enough. I think that certain clubs and certain players and certain personalities are the ones that, kind of get away with this and don't. I think that Grealish is one of them that doesn't get away with it, because he is that kind of flash player that does all these, and he is that kind of that's how he's come out to be.
Yeah.
I think he just doesn't get away with this whatsoever. So...
Do you think there's a chance as well, though, that this happened 2 days ago? In a month, we won't be talking about this. It will have blown over. We won't be thinking about it. No one was hurt. All he did was, I say all he did, he broke the rules of the quarantine, which is stupid and dangerous and irresponsible. But he didn't hurt anyone. I'm sure any damage that he did to the cars that he crashed into will be paid off by him. Do you think that there's a chance in a month, 6 weeks, by the time we sort of even get an idea of when football will be coming back, all of this will have sort of blown over to a certain degree, and it'll be a kind of, oh yeah, that happened, let's move on?
Yeah, I reckon it will be. I think it's, it's not a good thing, and it is, there's society problems more than anything that footballers can kind of do these things and get away with it. I'm sure there's footballers out there that have done worse and it's not even come out. There's footballers that do things all the time and kind of get away with things. There's a lot of times you hear about football. I mean, Tom Lawrence and them are back playing again for Derby, aren't they? After all that stuff that went down, and that's 100 times worse to what happened with Jack Grealish here. And they kind of get blown over, and that's it. And that is a problem in what just happens. But I don't know. I think from a Man United point of view, I think that it'll bite them either way. If he doesn't come to Manchester United because of this, everyone is going to constantly mention if Jack Grealish has any performances, if he goes to a different club, because there will be other clubs that'll take him. There'll be a Tottenham, there'll be someone like that that'll just say, I'll bite the bullet and take him. Could go abroad and do it as well. I think there'll always be, look what you could have had kind of thing. Whereas if we get him, there'll be the question going, oh, you sure you want this personality around and things like that. Even though he's always been exemplary on the pitch, he's never made a mistake on the pitch kind of thing. And the only mistakes he has, he does have a bit of a red mist go over him a couple of times, but I don't think there's anything ridiculous he's done on the pitch bad. So I don't know. I think it'll hurt either way.
Lukewarm in the comments, love the name, saying scene of the crime, he didn't murder anyone, he had a fender bender. The term fender bender I've always found very funny, and it always makes me think of one of Lars Bender. Fender. So you can have a fender bender or a bender fender.
It's not that one though.
Yeah, there you go. So just one of the two Bender brothers using a guitar is a Bender fender. Yeah, I think this will sort of blow over to a certain degree. And someone said before as well, what has this got to do with him being a footballer?
It doesn't.
But yeah, but
at the same time, it does.
Yeah,
because that's the whole point of it. It doesn't. It won't affect what he does on the pitch, but at the same time, and people saying it's just a fender bender. Like there's rumours going around he was drunk when he was doing it as well. There's a few things there that there's a couple of things like how serious is he taking the fitness element of the quarantine, how he's not taking the actual quarantine bit seriously, and drink driving in general. So there's three things there. So that's kind of where people say, well, that's where it affects his football, and like we've said, personalities, off the pitch things, how much do they affect it? You can kind of get away with it if you're top level and it doesn't affect you on the pitch, but at certain stages it will do eventually. There was times when Rooney didn't play because of things he said and did off the pitch, and for as much as he was quality, there's probably a dozen games in his career where he didn't play or couldn't play because of daft things that he did. And that's something you don't want, especially, and if you're not Wayne Rooney as well, if you're not the best player on the pitch, there's a big problem there.
I'm just hearing that maybe Ronaldo's fixed his problems. Do you want to, are you there, Ronaldo? Hello, can you hear us?
Let's see.
Can you hear us? No, we lost him. Adam, what do you think? What do you think?
About Ronaldo's audio?
No, how does this affect him on the pitch? How is this an on-the-pitch problem?
I feel that if the season was going on now, if there was no coronavirus thing and the season was fine, well, I feel that it probably gets some form of being dropped or fine. I mean, I know he's been fined anyway. I feel that on the pitch it would somewhat affect him because, there would be a lot, you've got like Sky Sports would be talking about it. It'd be the front page of every fucking paper. BT Sport would do a segment on it. And it would affect him because, players don't live in this bubble. They're susceptible to all the comments that we make, and they're, all the ones that get spoke out there, and he'll feel embarrassed. And he is. I mean, if you watch the interview that he did, I felt sorry for him. I felt like, I've been in that situation where you've done something daft and you wish you could take it back, but you can't. You just got to move on. Yeah. And the only way that Jack Grealish can redeem himself now is just by being a normal, decent human being. And if he did come to United, I feel that he'd need that arm round his shoulder sort of thing that Solskjaer has shown he is very good at. So whilst I've just been slagging off Grealish for the last 20 minutes and saying, he might have ruined his chances of signing for United, I think I might have come full circle.
Even in the last 20 minutes, it's blown over. What's gone on?
Exactly.
We were live for the 20-minute period that this just blew over. I think it's funny as well how this story of this Jack Grealish story has almost been, despite him not playing for Man United, a Man United story as much as it has been a Jack Grealish or an Aston Villa story. This has become. Yeah. This is just an insight, a glimpse into the scrutiny and the pressure that you get put under when you play for Man United, or when, in this case, you don't even play for Man United. All you have to do is be linked to Man United, and you crashing your car all of a sudden is Man United's problem. It's quite amazing, really, isn't it, just to see the difference in things. Like it's been a United story somehow, even though he doesn't play for United.
Because we're massive, aren't we?
We're just massive, lads.
Yeah, man.
Oh, go on.
I seen something the other day, Harry Redknapp doing it, where it came up. Harry Redknapp had a rant about because some of his players, when he was a manager, got pictured on a night out or something, and it was when they were on a pre-season or mid-season break thing, and they'd gone to Dubai training and stuff. And he said, you know what? I don't care what my players do. The rules for them was to get there at 8:30 on the bus, and I don't care whether they were drinking, whether they were doing whatever, but they all made it to the bus. And that's the thing with Jack Grealish, is that for as much as I reckon he is that, I think he's one of them. I mean, I know people like that as well, that were the worst people around football, but at the same time, if training was at 9 o'clock in the morning, they were still there at 9:15, hungover to whatever, and then they put 110% in, you wouldn't care, kind of thing. And that's what I kind of feel like Jack Grealish is. And if that's right, did you just have a swig of Corona there, Adam?
No.
That was definitely bottle. That's an old bottle of empty Corona you just drank there.
No, there's like a slither in it, and I had one this afternoon, and I didn't realise there was a slither in it. So
Jesus.
So yeah, I'm kind of like that. I think that it's one of them. You've seen it. I've seen people in the comments. There's a bit of an argument in the comments about Dele Alli, and I think that Dele Alli made mistakes, but the problem is that his on the field stuff started to be affected. It started to get worse. He started to have bad performances, and as soon as that happens, that's it. You can't have both. You have to be. If you want to be that guy that goes out every weekend and tries to get away with it, you can't let it affect you on the pitch. So,
you've just got to be. The thing is, right? It's such a weird lifestyle that these people get given, because what happens is you're a child, you're 6 or 7, and teams sort of start scouting you, and you start going into these academies and all that sort of stuff, and you're just really good at football. And then by the time you're 17 or 18, you make it into the first team. You have to have been. You've probably been given quite a lot of money, or at least more money than any of your mates by an absolute mile. Maybe by the time you're 18, you might be earning 10, 20, 30 grand a week, depending on who you come through at. Yeah. You have to be a role model. You have to be a rich kid. You have to be, perfect on and off the pitch. You have to not drink, despite all your mates doing that. You have, it's obviously money is such a great thing for people to have. When you don't have it, it's such a problem. And when you do have it, it makes things a lot easier. But it's not the only thing that matters. And they are given this lifestyle that is, certainly not too difficult to ask. It's not too much to ask by any means. But it is something to ask. It is, you're not allowed to go out with your mates until you're 35. You're not allowed to leave the house. You're not allowed to, you can't really go to the shops because you get especially if you're someone like Wayne Rooney is a perfect example of this. By the time he was 16, he was one of the most recognisable faces in the country. That isn't, human brains and humans aren't really designed for that kind of fame and
Absolutely
that kind
not,
of, you're on 100 grand a week by the time you're 18.
No.
It's a difficult sort of path to navigate. And, like I said, it didn't hurt anyone. It was stupid. It was breaking the law, breaking the rules, whatever you want to say. But I think you have to allow for the odd slip up here or there for especially young people who have been given a very comfortable lifestyle, but also one with a very strange set of rules to it.
Yeah, a player will never get better if he doesn't make mistakes on and off the field. It's as simple as that. What we ask is that if you do make a mistake like you would on the field, you want it to be rectified, or you're not welcome at that club. If I made mistakes in my line of work consistently, I don't think my customers would be happy, and I don't think my boss would be happy, and I'd probably be out the door if I just kept making them. But the fact is that you've got to just keep progressing, not only as an employee of a certain whatever you're in, but just in general. And I feel like the other thing as well, you raised a good point about being 18 and having all this money, whilst all your mates are starting to go out and stuff. And it's a totally valid point. When I was 18, everyone was like, we need to go out. We need to go to this concert. We need to go to this club. We need to do this, this, and this. And it's just part of living.
Music,
Yeah, of course. But no, it's just part of living that you need to sort of have that life. And then when you sort of have it taken away from you, I wouldn't say robbed, because I know that you get paid a lot of money. But what I'm getting at is the fact that every other person in the country who has their age, it comes from their background, from their culture and everything, has a totally different life. And yes, you're a footballer. Yes, you've got a verified tick on Twitter. Yes, you're on $5 grand a month or whatever, while your mates are on minimum wage at Asda. I'm not having to go at Asda, by the way. But what I'm getting at is I am Tesco Ultra. But what I'm getting at is that I give young players scope to make mistakes. I almost expect them to.
Yeah,
we've all made mistakes. We've all been there, and I totally get it. But like you said, how old's Grealish now? Is he 20?
Yeah, 24. You've got to learn from mistakes. That's what it is.
Come on. I mean, I remember when there was a picture of Grealish come out in Tenerife, passed out on the floor. I was like...
Again, though, it's one of the things, isn't it? How many times I've got pictures of my mates that are very similar, but I suppose you have to, at some point, the money and the lifestyle and the career path you've chosen have to come first. And you would hope that's sorted before you're 24. Like we were saying, purposely, I was making the point around 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old people. But by the time you're 24, you would think he would have ironed some of this out. But I guess that's going to be an issue that is with him
again
for a little bit.
Like, I know you do need that lad that but you do always need someone pushing it a little bit. I mean, I think you have to have someone
it's a bit of a troublemaker in our midst, Alex.
You need someone in the squad to be like, come on, we're going on a night out now. And should we really? No, we are. We need to. I mean, there's rumours that Harry Maguire kind of organised. I think that's kind of what pushed him over the edge to getting the job. Was that Harry Maguire was the one, and I think it was more of a let's go out for dinner kind of thing than come on.
Not scratching his bum and then wiping it on someone's top lip. Not that kind of troublemaker.
You need someone like that. I think that everyone denying that wasn't the case. I think the fact that Nicky Butt was kind of that player in the class of '92 and stuff that kind of did that kind of thing, and then you had Lee Sharp there at that time as well. And I think then you had Dwight York in the '99.
No, imagine that. Me, you, Adam, Nicky Butt, Dwight York, Lee Sharp, night out. Oh yes. My God. Actually, before, just a second, we're going to get Ronaldo back in. He's got to go. His time's very important. We're going to get him back in. We're going to say bye to Ronaldo. Bye, Ronaldo. If we can all wave to Ronaldo. He can't hear us, but we can hear him. I don't know if he knows that he's on here.
I wish I could hear you, lads. But
we can hear you.
It's been great being here with you.
Very soon. He's come on.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit, Ronaldo. Bye, mate. Wonderful.
Brilliant.
So, God. Yeah, that was lovely to see. Lovely to see from Ronaldo. What you got planned for the rest of the week, lads?
God, I'm editing a video for Steve, and then after that, I don't know, might play that thing that I bought, which is my isolation hobby.
Oh, what you should do? You should record an album called The Isolation Tapes, and then release them, but don't release them properly. Put them in a small chest and put them in a cave at the seaside. Oh, yeah. Someone will find them.
Like I've got a new pedal, an amp, and that's called the Isolation Station, and that's just where it's just where I'm running it through, just getting some nice sounds through it so far.
Oh, they have sounds, do they?
Yeah,
I've heard about these guitars.
They'll make sounds. Yeah.
Are you good at guitar?
Horrendous. I can do like some chords, and then but I don't want to focus too heavy on the guitar on this podcast. I'll wait for when I'm up there with Johnny Marr.
When you're a music,
wait till we do our guitar podcast instead, shall you? Exactly. And Alex, what about you, mate?
Well, the routine's been pretty steady, hasn't it? Get up in the morning. We all have our little team meeting that is just
sorry team.
Sorry team. And then it's kind of a mix of there's a bit of work in there. There's a bit of FIFA. There's the odd run. And then there's a bit of Netflix, and then there's a bit of Joe Rogan, and then that's the day gone.
Look at you, you're such a modern man. It's all very digital, might I say.
Very digital. I went out for the run. The run's in there.
I thought you meant
fitness level.
Sports.
No. I'm gonna do it. Paddock FC training.
We've just got a comment in here. And I'm gonna put it on the screen because I think it deserves a little bit of attention. This is from Oliver Edwards.
Oh no.
I says, Adam, play some guitar now. And you know what? I couldn't agree with you anymore, Oliver. And he's a younger fan. He's a younger member of the audience, and it would be very much a shame to let him down. If you get that acoustic guitar behind you, Adam.
I'm letting him down.
I don't think he will.
Are you actually not going to do it?
No, Mick.
Why not?
I think you need to set up nice and early. You need to get it ready, figure out your audio things, and go on one of our weekend shows that involves music and alcohol. It's either the Friday night show or there's another Saturday night show.
Like I got this new mic as well. Like it's not even got a wire in
it. Look at all these.
What is this? Yeah. Don't watch Joe Rogan. Watch him. It's the same thing.
Look at that.
It's got a better studio than we have in the studio.
I do actually. And do you know what? I'm one HDMI cable away from actually having a pretty decent studio in here. Hang on. Why does Alex have a tea towel framed on the wall?
A tea towel. It's not a tea towel. This is Open Championship flag, Royal Birkdale, 2000 and whatever it was, and now I've taken it down, so now it's on the wall.
Someone just asked if I've heard of Lathams. Yeah, I have. I was meant to be seeing them at Blossoms. They were the support act, and I was going to see them. I think they had a DMA support act at Castlefield Hall, I think. Yeah.
Do you only like bands that end with ums, by the way? Blossoms, Possums, Lathams, Slathams, that kind of thing. Is that a rule for you?
Arctic Monkeums.
Arctic Monkums.
You can't see the Smiths one there, but it says ums really tiny under it.
Arctic Mumkums.
Right. Do
you know what I want to talk about? You talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I didn't get to talk about it. So that's really all that matters. I'm not joking. These plants are about to go, lads. Playing the season behind closed doors, this little festival of football that we might be seeing at the end of the season. Adam's shaking his head. What's going on, mate?
Totally disagree. I disagree with it should be going ahead.
Go on, then.
Because it's putting fucking profits over common sense. It's ridiculous.
That's it.
People are fucking going on about, these clubs need to generate revenue so that the people don't get sacked in their things. No, they fucking don't. These are multi-million-pound football clubs that are going to take a financial hit because there's no broadcast package. This whole idea of this fucking Midlands World Cup thing with 4 games a day, it sounds so good. It sounds brilliant. Like, I would love it. I would love it if we beat them. I'd love it. No, I'd love it in terms of there'd be football non-stop every day and it would feel like a World Cup. But I don't agree with the moralistic and logistical reasons behind it, being the fact that Sky and BT and Amazon are going to pay out their ass for all these football clubs. And all these football clubs will go, all right, that's 300 mil in the bank. Thank you very much.
I tell you what, when you said that about the Midlands World Cup, well, you went down in my estimation that day.
I also I kind of
Alex.
Sorry, team.
Right, I'm not writing your name on the wall for shouting out.
Sorry, team. I wish we could put clips in.
We can.
No, but not a Phoenix Nights. You can't.
Go on.
So the other thing is, they're like saying, they have to pay back all this money to Sky. I'm like, you're not telling me these companies don't have insurance that kind of goes, yeah, you need to sort that, mate. Like you can't. You're not just going to lose £100 million because of this thing. You're like straight away. You just go, yeah, let's just put an insurance claim in, and the insurance company go, oh, we're gonna have to pay that, aren't we? Because that's what we made. Like it doesn't just work like that. And the thing is with all this, like there is obviously the economy and all this. It's going to go properly tits up. But everyone's saying, they're going to lose hundreds of millions if this happens. What a load of bollocks. They'll get that money back in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but we don't know that. I'm scared. But also, right, let's forget.
I'm not sure Sky could do that.
Can we just for a second, guys, and I might catch a bit of flack for this, can we just forget the human side of things? Yes, there's a global pandemic, but let's look at it from a selfish perspective. We want to see this happen. And here's the thing, we're all having a go at these football clubs. If it's them playing, it's only them going to catch coronavirus. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not filling out the stadiums. It's all behind closed doors. I say, spin the wheel, boy. Spin that wheel. Let's play some football.
You've said that now.
Forever attributed with that.
I think if there's a way of doing it safely, I would love to see football again. And it is a shame that it feels as though money is being put before common sense and before not even just common sense, because common sense, whilst it seems kind of objective, can be quite subjective at times. But I think it's just human safety, and that isn't subjective in this case. I think.
Yeah, oh, man.
Yeah, I'm not putting that one on the screen.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
But I think, if they are to do it, don't get me wrong, I would be the first person watching. I would absolutely love it, and if we can at least promote some sort of veil of safety around the whole thing, and it can be done in a way that seems like it's adhering to government guidelines and that kind of thing, I would absolutely love it. And kind of a replacement to the Euros, but a way to finish the season with Rashford back, with Pogba back.
I mean,
it would be exciting as shit, wouldn't it?
I think it's one of them. I think as well, like the money that they throw at it to get it going again, like every single person that, because if they did it at St George's Park or something like that, every single person walking through that would be tested for coronavirus, and if you've got it, you ain't coming in. And that would be kind of like they'd throw so much. I was watching something today about them trying to put a UFC fight on, and it's just like them just saying, imagine if they spent that much. Like if they spent 200 million to put one fight on, which they probably would do or could do, like they'd make sure everything would be safe, because they could just sterilize 400 buses and just make sure that it's literally, you could incubate people for that kind of time. Like if they wanted to throw the money at it, they could. And because the thing is, like everyone said, like if they can put it on, they will do, because the amount they could World Cup style do it. Every day there's a football match on, and they just rattle through the games in a month or so.
And if they get everyone in a sort of whatever radius or whatever, each team has their own camp. Like I said, everyone gets tested before you go, first of all, and then you're tested on arrival as well. All the media, all the chefs, all the coaches, all the players, and they stay in these kind of locked-in isolation areas that that people are then play games against each other. I suppose in theory, like you said, it can be done safely, maybe, but it's how much money they're willing to spend on it. And I suppose if the alternative is they lose 700 million as a league, then spending 100 million or 50 million or maybe even only 20 million on testing kits and facilities and wages and rentals for things and that kind of stuff, putting the event on in itself, may well be worth the money for them if the alternative is to lose all of the money.
There's a good comment there about that Ben's just put in though.
That's brilliant.
Saying it's not just about catching the virus. If a player gets injured and needs hospital treatment, it's a bit irresponsible to play football when every NHS. And you're right. These are the things they have to take into account. It needs to be on. And I think the plan of the people putting it out there saying it's going to be June time, maybe like, I don't think that's doable. I think it's going to be later on. I think it's probably going to be later than that. I think it needs to be on a decline. And I think there needs to be some limit. I think there needs to be some kind of normal life got back together. Maybe it being almost, even if it was just going back to how things were 2 weeks ago, where it was just right, everyone be on high alert and and if you can stay within it and all this kind of stuff. I think that it needs to be down to that, because if it's still, like I said, you can't be taking NHS staff away right now and stuff. Like I said, we're all saying all this, like the amount of money you'd have to throw at it. And the other thing is, it's going to be private doctors and stuff that deal with these players and stuff, and hopefully it wouldn't take away from. But if there's a hint of it, if someone, this is the thing, if someone says no, I don't like that, in some way, shape, or form, they say I don't think it's going to be right for them. It's not going to be right for them. They have to just cut it. If someone does that, if anyone in the highest thing says, do you know what, this probably isn't right, then it isn't right, because we can't be taking that risk with anything right now. But if everyone kind of says, look, there's a way to do this, there's a way of us going through all this stuff, then I think it's one of them, like everyone's denying that it would just be a boost for the country in terms of just something to do and morale and stuff.
Oh my god!
Which is just what, like, everyone's going to say, oh, they don't need that. Well, do you know what? A lot of people do. It's kind of what's been missing. It's kind of what.
Do you know what I want? Everyone to chant with me. Build that dome. Build that dome. Football dome. Lock them in. Football dome.
Megadome.
That's what we need. They've got that money. Build a megadome. Put it over all the teams. Make them play inside it. And when there gets too much condensation for us to see through, then you just replace it with a new dome. Someone said, Ross. Go on.
I don't even like the whole.
You idiot.
You go.
I'm not speaking until you've spoken, mate.
Right. I was going to say that. Right. I forgot what I was going to say. Read the first one out. I've lost my train
Ross
of
says,
thought.
imagine players come back unfit like they used to do in the 90s. Or we say in the 90s, Eden Hazard was a chubby little fucker when he started playing for Real Madrid as well, wasn't he, this season? It would be funny though, everyone coming back fat, just smoking and alcoholics like they used to be.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
But
what a great time. Have you listened to the interviews with like Merson and stuff, saying what they used to be doing like on a Tuesday before a Thursday game, and you're like, if
what,
they
were they having sleeping
now,
tablets and champagne and stuff?
Yeah.
That's just a great way to stop your heart immediately, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
God, yeah.
But like they'd be doing this 2 or 3 days before a game. If they tried to play now, they just get absolutely ran off the park. What Ray Parlour said,
who though? Because no one's playing.
Ray Parlour said that he had 3 pints before a game once, but because he didn't think he was in the squad. And then Wenger tapped him on the shoulder when he was in the bar saying, "Someone's just got injured. You're in."
That's like Kieran at the five-a-side tournament.
Have you seen Ray Parlour? I have never seen that man without a pint. I'm sure that his entire bloodstream, his alcohol stream must have a bit of blood in it, because that guy just runs off pints.
I'm sure I saw him have a pint on the pitch once. I may be forgetting that, but I think they were throwing everyone water bottles and they just threw him a can of Carlin and he just Stone Cold Steve Austin shotgunned it.
Yeah, which United player or which Premier League player is most likely to turn up absolutely hungover 2 or 3 o'clock Saturday?
Hungover?
Jack Grealish?
Too easy, isn't it? Too easy. I won't be surprised. Marcus Rojo, I won't be surprised if he's always been pissed this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Someone else. Someone said Luke Shaw. I don't think so. I think
Luke Shaw makes sense, because that'd be the takeaway that he will have had to soak up the beer at about 3 in the morning.
Callum's comment there has got one of the best turn of phrases I've ever heard. I've never heard it called that before. That is excellent, Callum. I've lost my head at that. He's just easily led, isn't he? Luke Shaw. Yeah, maybe Luke Shaw. Oh, God, very exciting. You know what we've got coming out tomorrow, though? Speaking of exciting, great link, thank you. We've done a little debate, haven't we, Alex? Do you want to tell the audience about the debate that we did today?
Well, it's me versus the well-prepared and very well-educated journalist that is Jay Motti from Full Time Devils, arguing over who should be our keeper for next season. I'll let you decide who wins.
It's going to be good. That's going to be coming out tomorrow.
It's very good.
Around
it's really
4 o'clock. It is actually really good. Some really good talking points in there. Great, very well put together arguments from both of you, I must say.
They were all right. Did we put in there to make sure that they get what arguments they'd like us to do and who would like to? Because I know that Adam wants to do Victor Lindelof or anybody else in the world at some point. He wants to do that one.
Look, so Lindelof isn't that bad. But all I'm saying is we could do a lot better.
Right. Okay. So we'll save your points for the debate.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments to this video as well if you fancy, if there's any debates that you think we should be having. First of all, like I said, we started with De Gea versus Dean Henderson for next season. But if there's other ones that stand out to you, let us know in the comments. Also, this show is available on iTunes, on Spotify, on all those kinds of platforms. So if you want to listen to it on there, then do.
And
also, check out.
If they are listening, they're going to see Ronaldo. You're going to hear us waving at Ronaldo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And having no idea what's going on.
Yeah, if Ronaldo, in case you don't remember, is the guy we used to have on. It goes to uni in Loughborough. You know the one.
Good lad.
But yeah, and also do check out our merchandise area as well. Like the link is in the description for that. Got all sorts of shirts in there.
This little model here.
Yeah. You can see him in the training kit. The training kit is lovely as well. So if you want to check any of that out, help support the channel, that would be hugely appreciated as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Oh, Maddison versus Grealish. There's one we can do. That's going to be very fun. Thanks, Adam. Thanks, Alex. Thank you very much to everyone at home for watching. And if I can find the sort of thing that we need to play at the end for this to end, we're going to go now. Goodbye.
See you later.